Hey there, it's Paige from the Impact Copywriter and the Sales Funnel Shop. And today I'm going to show you how to set up a free course funnel automation. A free course funnel may be a good lead magnet for you to, attract the right buyers to your list, to build that list of potential leads and build trust through your video lessons. A free course funnel is also interesting because, when you're selling certain types of products and services, there is a beginning point at which you need ideal buyers to be at in order to get the most out of your service or your training program or whatever you're selling. And, if people come to you and they're not at that point, then they're not really a good fit lead. So what you can do is use a free course funnel to essentially create more buyers because you're getting them to that point that they need to be to get the most out of your paid program. So you're kind of helping them do the pre-work for free. And at the same time, you're building that trust in you as a trainer. All right, let's look at the big picture before we dive into the technical how-to in the back end. So here on the screen, we're looking at the free course funnel blueprint. And as with most funnels, you can see that there's going to be a range of traffic sources. Most likely you might be using Facebook posts or even Facebook ads. You might be sending emails to send people to this opt-in page. You might be, driving traffic from your blog. You might be getting some visitors from search engine optimization work that you've done. You could be using Instagram, YouTube, other social media platforms. So there are a lot of different options when it comes to sending traffic. But the first step really for the visitor is the opt-in page. So they land here where you present your free course designed to get them some kind of outcome. And if they want this free course, then they enter their information, usually an email address, maybe a first name. They submit the form and they're redirected to a thank you page where they can either, start lesson one, or maybe you're just, you're asking them for some feedback on why they signed up, what they hope this helps them do if you're collecting voice of customer data with a survey on your thank you pages. On the back end, though, once they submit that form, they're going to be added to a list. So you will need two core tools to make a free course funnel work, and that's a landing page builder, and that's an email service provider. And if you're using, those all-in-one tool solutions, then those may be offered in one tool, so both of those functions. I have yet to find an all-in-one tool solution that I'm happy with that does everything well. So currently, I use ActiveCampaign, which is an email service provider and has powerful automation capabilities. And I have used a variety of different landing page builders. I've used ClickFunnels in the past. I've tried Lead Pages. Currently, I'm using Elementor, and I've used Divi also with WordPress. So those are Elementor and Divi are both WordPress plugins and themes, so that you can build landing pages right on your site. So those are what I'm currently using, but you will need some kind of tool that lets you build landing pages, and you will need a tool that lets you send email automations. So if those are two separate tools, you need to make sure there's a strong integration between your landing page builder and your email service provider, a direct integration. You don't really want to use Zapier for this because you're going to spend a lot of money on Zaps as you build out more and more funnels. So like I said, in the back end, once that form and your email service provider are integrated, that happens automatically. You only set up the integration once, and then every time you create a new opt-in page and you just tell it which list to add people to, that'll happen automatically without any extra effort on your part. So in my email service provider, they're going to be added to a specific list. And then from that action, I can set up an automation, which is what I'm going to show you in this video, to send emails, to do a few more advanced segmentation kind of things in the back end, to help me send better promos, to learn more about my subscribers, and those kinds of things. So, ideally, immediately after they opt in for the free course, they're going to be added to a list, and I'm going to send them email 1 with the link to lesson 1. The next day, I'm going to send them email 2 with the link to lesson 2. And then one more day later, I'm going to send them email 3 with the link to lesson 3. So here we're assuming a 3-lesson free course, which is a good amount of emails to kind of help people do something, to achieve some small win without sending them too much that will overwhelm them. So at this point, we can talk about, your different options for how you deliver your course materials. So you could go with a email-only funnel. And if your lessons are simple, then and your homework is simple and the things that they need to do on their end is simple, then you can consider going with the email only funnel. That's also the quickest way to get started. You just put all of your content in the email. So you're writing it out and you're teaching through the written word. In that case, all you need to send them is emails with text in the email, and that's it. Now, you could take this a step further, and this will build more trust in you as a trainer because a lot of things need to be explained. So you can also upgrade. Instead of a free email course, you could do a video course. And so you can send them to your videos that you've recorded, where you record those lessons. Maybe you demonstrate something, and then you tell them what they need to do at that point to get the outcome they're looking for. So you can send them, for example, to videos on Facebook. If you've already done some kind of free course live and you already have the video content there, you can send them directly to those posts on Facebook if that's part of your strategy, building your Facebook audience. Or, you can record videos, put them on YouTube, and embed them in landing pages, which is what I do for video course funnels. So you'll have a landing page for each course lesson, and then you'll embed that video and, any supporting materials that you need to into that page. And those will be hosted on your site. Or the final option is that you can use a course platform like Teachable, where you can set up your free course and then just direct them, include the links to the course pages. So once they have an account and they click through that link, they'll be able to go directly to that specific lesson. So once they've gotten that final email, all that's left to do is to send them into the next step. So whatever your bigger funnel looks like, maybe you're going to send them into a webinar promotion sequence. If your webinar is really your core sales tool, then you'll send them into another email automation that's designed to get them to sign up for the webinar. So that'll depend a lot on what your bigger funnel looks like. And if you don't yet have a next step and you're just at the beginning and you're growing your list, you can add them simply to a newsletter or an automated newsletter automation, or you can simply just end the automation here, and subscribers will only get those live email newsletters moving forward until you build out your funnel, more steps in your funnel. So that is the big picture overview of a simple free course funnel, regardless of if it's an email only funnel or a video funnel, or even something in between. All right, now I'm going to walk you through a real live free course funnel that I used earlier in my business. It's not currently an active funnel, but I still have all the automation and pieces set up. So I'm going to walk you through what this funnel looks like. Then we'll build it here in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the core pieces that you'll need to make this automation work. The first piece is that you will need a trigger action. So as with most freebie-like offers, we're offering something for free. They opt in an opt-in page. You're going to create a specific list for each of those offers. And then in your automation is going to trigger when someone joins that list. And that is the most basic, easiest way to trigger a freebie automation. So that is most likely going to be your trigger action. When someone joins, in this case, the WTF mini class list, this automation is going to trigger. The second thing you're going to need are emails. Of course, right? So you have to deliver those lessons somehow. So it doesn't matter if you're using an email only funnel or a video funnel, you will have to deliver something by email, because, if you're having an email funnel, then everything is going to be in the email. You're going to teach via the email. But if you're sending them to a link, you still have to send them an email with the link, right? And ideally, you'll also want to include reasons why they want to click through to that lesson. So you're going to also do some copywriting to kind of sell them on clicking through to the lesson. So in this case, you're just going to need 3 different emails, one with each lesson. And note here, we don't have a separate kind of confirmation email, because our confirmation email and our lesson 1 are really kind of together. So you're going to confirm that they have joined the class, that they're going to get the lessons just by sending them lesson 1. The third piece you're going to need are the wait actions. So if you didn't have any wait actions in your automation, everything would happen sequentially. That means that they would get all 3 emails at the same time. So we add wait actions to tell the automation to wait a day before taking the next action. So that's what we want to do because we don't want them getting all the lessons at once. That's overwhelming. We want to drip it out over 3 days, or you can customize that also depending on what makes the most sense for your course, your free course. So if you want to drip it out over put 2 days in between each lesson or 3 days in between each lesson, then you can customize that here, depending on how you set up your wait action. So you can see here we're separating lesson 1 with a wait 1 day action. We're separating lesson 2 and 3 also with a wait 1 day action. So those are essential, like I said, because we don't want them getting the lesson emails at the same time. And then the final piece that you'll need is just a simple in this automation action, which tells the automation that it's over. So those are 4 core things that you will need for any automation where there are multiple emails and you want to make sure that they're getting them over a period of time. But there are a few other things you can add. Like, for example, you can see here I'm using a tag. So I use a lot of interest tags. So interested in funnels for people who sign up for specific things to help me send more relevant promos later, more relevant content later. So it's helping me kind of learn and classify subscribers based on actions they take. You can also see here that I'm using another subscribe action. So when someone joins one of my free things, they automatically go to my master list, which is my newsletter list. And in this case, you can see they're being subscribed automatically to the newsletter list for copy and funnels. Now, I do this because when I'm sending free content out, especially like with the live email newsletters where I'm writing it that week and sending out the link or whatnot to my list, I use the newsletter list. So the only reason I will use this list is for automation purposes. I won't send emails to this list on a normal basis. So as long as they're on the newsletter list, they'll still get the future free content. And one other action that we don't have in this specific funnel, because at this time there was no next step, but if we have a bigger sales funnel and there is a next step after they get through the free class and you want to send them, for example, through a webinar promotion sequence, then you'll also need a start an automation action here. And you would just drag that in, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. When you add a start an automation action, you'll be able to select the automation that you already have set up so that when they reach the end of the free class, then they're funneled into another automation that takes them through the next step of your funnel. All right, now I'm going to show you how to build this automation inside ActiveCampaign. So I'm inside the automation section of my dashboard. I've clicked on the create an automation button here at the top, and ActiveCampaign launches the setup an automation wizard. We're going to select start from scratch and continue. Automatically, ActiveCampaign is going to prompt me to add a start trigger. As a personal preference, I always start automations without a trigger. So select start without a trigger, and then just exit out here. Now, the reason I start without a trigger is just for safety precautions, because I want to make sure the automation is fully set up and ready to go before I add the action that could potentially send people through the automation. The next thing I want you to do is to name your automation. When naming your funnel, make sure it's clear and descriptive of what the funnel is doing for you. In my case, I'm going to name this the free course funnel demo because essentially that's what this is for me. And I'm going to save it. Now you can see here in the example, this was called the WTF mini class delivery trip. So that was clear and descriptive of the funnel itself, what the funnel was for. And then I made sure that I knew that this was to deliver the lessons. The first thing we're going to do is add placeholders for each of our emails. So I'm going to drag in, send an email. Since this is a new automation, we don't have any emails previously set up, so we're going to create an email. I'm going to name these emails with L1, L2, and L3 at the beginning to stand for lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And then once I go back and input my email content, I'm going to type in, what the topic of this email is. But for now, since I don't have the content developed yet, I'm just going to save that. All right, now ActiveCampaign is going to take me into the wizard where I set up my email and the content. So for now, when I'm setting up a email automation from the beginning, I always set up the skeleton automation. So I don't put the email content in. So for now, I'm going to save and exit. Now, as a note, I will say that to make sure you already have your template set up, and that'll save you a lot of time on the back end when you're creating automations, when you're sending email newsletters, because you're able to create all kind of set up all the design elements inside your template. You don't have to recreate that later. So all you have to do is swap out the body portion or the images if you're using images, format those, and then you're done. So you can see here I already have a few templates set up, and then ActiveCampaign does provide a lot of templates as well for you to use and customize as you wish. So make sure you do set up your templates when you start using ActiveCampaign to save you design time on the back end later. For now, let's save and exit, and ActiveCampaign will save this email as a draft. So we have L1 selected, which is going to be our lesson 1 email, and we're going to save. I'm going to repeat that process for emails 2 and 3. Now that I have all my emails set up, I'm going to add my wait actions. So I'm going to add a wait action between each email, so between lesson 1 and lesson 2, and between lesson 2 and lesson 3. Note that I'm not going to add a wait action at the beginning because I want the first email to send as soon as someone opts in to the free course. Wait actions are located under conditions and workflow. We're going to wait for a specified period of time, and in this case, we're going to wait for 1 day. Next, let's add in our end this automation action to tell the automation, where the stopping point is. In this automation is also located under conditions and workflow. All right, now the final piece that we don't have, and let's assume we already have our email content set up. So for the purpose of this demo, we'll say we've already gone through that process. We've put in the email content, we've tested the emails, we've tested the links, and everything looks good. Now we're going to add our start trigger. So this automation is going to trigger when someone subscribes to a specific list. Now we're going to select the list. Now you'll need to set that up also in your ActiveCampaign from the list tabs, which is here. For this purpose, we're going to send them through the WTF mini class list. I always like to run it multiple times just in case someone falls out and comes back in down the road. And we're going to add start. All right, so if we weren't using any of the more advanced actions that I demoed in the example, then this is all we would need. We have our start trigger, we have our emails, 3 emails for each lesson, we have our wait actions, and then we have our end this automation action. That is the simplest form of this automation. So once the emails were set up and we had tested everything, then we would make this automation active simply by clicking the active button here at the top. So let's add in those extra automation actions that I showed you in the example automation. So the first one is a tag. Tags are located under the context tab. We're going to drag in add a tag here at the beginning of the automation. So you can add whatever tag makes sense for your business. So when looking at what this subscriber has opted in for, think about what can I reasonably assume about this subscriber and how can I tag them based on that. So that will depend on what your free course is offering, what kind of transformation, who is it for. So in this case, the WTF class was called What the Funnel. And so I could reasonably assume that this subscriber was interested in sales funnels. You can see I already have some tags set up in ActiveCampaign. If you don't, then you can just type it in and ActiveCampaign will add it for you. But as you set up tags, they'll automatically populate as you type in your tag inside the automation builder. So remember to personalize tags based on what makes it the most sense for your business. I could reasonably have created a What the Funnel mini class for course creators about course funnels. So then I could also tag them as persona course creator. So that helps me know who is on my list, and when I create resources for course creators, I can send them only to the people who are tagged as a course creator. So that's just an example of how you can use tagging to send more relevant emails later on. The second action I'm going to add is a subscribe action. So also under contacts, you'll see we have the subscribe action. I'm going to drag it in as well. You do not want to subscribe them to all the lists. Please don't do that. Make sure you select the list that represents your master newsletter list. So I'm going to select copy and funnels. All right, now we're using automation to learn more about our subscribers and to add them automatically to the other list so we don't have to do that work on the back end by hand. So now we have an automation set up that's very similar to the What the Funnel mini class automation that I'm demoing you here. And we have all the pieces included. And then, so the next step would be to set up your email content, once you've written that. Then send those test emails, make sure there are no typos, make sure all your links go to the right place. And then once you have all your emails set up, you can activate your automation by clicking active, and you'll be ready to go. So in this example, there was no next step to send people through. But what if you have a next step in your business? What if you're going to promote a webinar or something else, or some kind of training that's going to be your primary sales tool? Or what if you're a service provider and you need to send them through an email sequence to get them to book a call with you or project consult with you? So now I'm going to show you how you can modify this automation to send them through the next step. So the action that we're going to use is under conditions and workflow. We're going to start an automation, and we're going to add it in the end of the automation right before the end action here. So we're going to start. We need to select the automation. So you already need to have it set up. So we're going to assume here, because I don't have a next step set up for this, we're going to assume that this demo automated newsletter is my next step. Let's assume, for example, that this is designed to get people to book a call. So we're going to ignore the name for now. All right, so once people get lesson 3, the automation is going to send them into a separate automation, which is the next step in our funnel, and then this automation will end. So at this point, we need another wait action. And that's because most likely when they enter this automation, they're going to get another email automatically. So since we don't want to send them email 3 and whatever the first email is in this automation, we want to add a wait action so that the automation does that the next day. Now we have a 1-day wait action, which acts as a little bit of cushion between the subscriber getting lesson 3, which we want them to watch and act on before they start getting any emails about booking a call with us or signing up for a webinar. So whatever the purpose of those emails are for in that next step. And that's it. Now this automation is set up to send your subscriber into the next step in your funnel. That is the simple free course funnel automation in a nutshell. It starts with an opt-in page. Once people opt into your free course, they're added to a list, and then we can start sending them emails with links or with the content of the lessons in your course. This is a great lead magnet if you sell digital training products, regardless if you're selling online programs, online courses, or if you have a membership program, even if you sell services. This is a great way to attract the right buyers to your list, to build trust through those lessons, through that video content if you're using videos, and also to help create buyers. So you're helping people get from, a point A to point B, to where point B, it puts them in a good place to be ready for your paid products and programs. Good luck setting up your free course funnel.